Alrighty.
Are we alive?
We are. I am.
Doesn't say so yet. Oh, wait. Doesn't say so yet. Yeah, I can hear myself.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Got the notification to say that we're live.
Okay, here we go.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry we're that late. That's all my fault. Because we did a live yesterday that was 5 hours, so I didn't go to bed until 5 in the morning. And then I had to have my car fixed at 9 in the morning. So I had to sleep in the afternoon and I had to do a bunch of shit. So sorry. That's why we're so late. I hope you don't mind.
Better late than never.
Oh, we're
That is about
forgiven.
right.
Okay, good. Well, Joss gonna be here in the live. She's powering up her computer. We have Nina, you know Nina, and tonight we have Sasha. And Sasha,
Hi.
introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Sasha, and I'm from Newcastle, up in the north of England. And I just wanted to get joined in because I've been losing my mind for the last 6 weeks. And like I was just saying to you girls, it's so good to finally be amongst people who are on a level and kind of seeing sense in the eye of the shitstorm, really, because this has been like, if you haven't experienced a paradigm shift in the last 6 weeks, I don't know what's been going on because this has been insane. So I'm very grateful that you're allowing me to come on and have a chat with you guys. I really do.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, we're not
And
gonna be
so
on very. What are we gonna talk about tonight? Well,
oh well, I've got something to talk about, so I'll just say that straight
Sasha
up.
has something to talk about, so
I'm
we're gonna
thirsty, yeah.
listen to Sasha anyway. I
So
other than that, I'm honestly not sure. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I mean, like I said, we had a 5 hour live on my other channel last night, so I'm not so sure this is going to be a very long one. Can we talk about MJ? Well, this is a channel about Michael Jackson, so you can be assured that we're going to talk about Michael Jackson.
yeah.
Um,
Will I get started with my funny little story from last night?
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is crazy. So I was talking to my friend who I haven't spoken to for a couple of months. She's living in New York at the moment. And she was telling me that she was with her sister over Christmas, and her sister has two daughters, like, so they're my friend's nieces. And there was one particular day when my friend said to her nieces, I'm going to show you the most inspirational person in my life. I'm going to show you a video of a man called Michael Jackson. We're going to watch the This Is It documentary. And she saw her sister kind of like shoot her like daggers, like straight away. And she was like, and anyway, so went in with the nieces, watched the, program, documentary, whatever, with the family. And later on, her sister pulled her to the side and said basically that she knows Wade Robson and they were friends in California. And she cannot basically believe what her sister is doing, showing her this is it documentary to her nieces. And they haven't spoken since. It's been like they're like, sisters, and they have not spoken for how many months would that be now? April, 4 months. And the point being is that the only time that you see like a family member switch on you or a friend switch on you or somebody who you love switch on you like that is when it's dogma. And I think what you have with Michael Jackson is a kind of cultural dogma surrounding him, whereby people don't want to hear. They will absolutely cut you out and look at you like there's something wrong with you if you try to defend this person. And I think that's what we're dealing with here. There's an entire like in a bit there's a blindness, and that's the only time when you have that kind of really severe reaction is when there's a blindness to see sense and to see what is the reality. And I think that's what we're dealing with. And I don't know how you can really penetrate. We've got to find ways to really penetrate that because this has gotten to the extreme. And I just wonder what your thoughts were on
Nina.
Yeah.
that. But do you know what I mean by dogma? Like that's Like,
So I get what you mean when you think that obviously being Michael Jackson, everybody, as soon as you hear Michael Jackson, everybody's got one strong opinion for one way
yeah,
or the other.
yeah,
Or there's somewhere you either float in the middle of you're not really sure, it could be true, it could not be true. But I mean, it can spark such a deep-seated opinion. Like somebody can have such a strong belief, like your sister's friend is obviously knows Wade and believes Wade,
yeah.
even though there are other people who believe Wade. There was a guy that recently just took part in an interview and he worked with Wade. Wade choreographed for his dance students and he knew Wade, and away from it all, Wade personally told him that nothing inappropriate ever happened with him and Michael. So
Oh, yeah,
He knew Wade, he worked with Wade, and other people that also knew Wade and worked with Wade have said that Wade confided in them. There's a chapter, there's a little paragraph in Justin Timberlake's book where Justin Timberlake says that Wade confided in him that nothing inappropriate ever happened with him and Michael Jackson. But then Wade, he's done this complete U-turn, and I mean, he's putting on an epic performance. I give him that. I mean, he's doing a really good job performing this lie and continuing it. Obviously there will be people that believe what he's saying now, but if you believe
yes,
what he's saying now, how you believe what he was saying when he was defending Michael Jackson for all these years, so why now are you choosing to believe this U-turn of his? But I do
yeah,
understand what
exactly.
you say, that it just, Michael Jackson can cause such a reaction for either one way or the other. It's like, if you believe that Michael Jackson isn't, then I just can't talk to you because you're a paedophile supporter, and these things actually happen.
Yeah, it's insane. And by the way, I want to mention that her sister was friends with Wade way back in the day, by the way. They're like not friends currently. I think this is like a friendship from when they were younger, like in California. So it's not like, something she's known him from a long time ago. They're not friends anymore, but they were friends. And I think that's why she's supporting him. It's not like, and that's why she believes him now. It's not like, oh, he told her in the past and therefore that's why she believes it. I think it's just because of the friendship they used to have, she's still willing to go there and believe that. So it's nothing to do with Wade not being a liar. Wade is absolutely lying. It's got nothing to do with that. And that's the poison of this whole thing.
So some kind of
And
childhood friendship loyalty, I
like it
guess.
kind of like in their 20s, it's like when they were in California, basically, when she was working in PR over there, and that's how she knew him then when he was choreographed. So
I don't
that's my
suppose you'd
point.
happen to know if she was one of the ones back then that he was humpy with.
Bumpy,
Who
bumpy.
knows? I don't know because she
That
was
is
in
the
PR, so
first
you
for
never know,
me.
right? Like he was willing
That
to
is
do
the
that.
first for
So
me. Bumpy, bumpy. I'm gonna have to
Bumpy.
use that one.
I have no idea. But it's just a matter of like how to really like just put across to people. And that's what I was saying before. Like it's almost like you need to take Michael Jackson's name out of the story to present it back to people to say, this is insane. Like every opinion you have that is contrary to legal reactions to the child molestation accusations. If you think he's guilty, every single time you have an opinion that is at odds with the legal system. So how are you backing that up? And the only way you can back it up is with media, obviously. But it's almost like you have to take his name away from it to make people see sense. And that's my point, because his name has become so potent and so weighed down and so bogged down with all this other stuff that people just have lost their minds. And so this is another interesting thing as well. There's a guy called Tim Pool who's like, I don't know if you girls have heard of him. Have you heard of Tim Pool before?
Let me just throw this in here. A question. I forgot who it was from. Someone asked, "Are we going to speak about the?" I think her name is Lynn Nottage
Yeah, from
story.
the musical. I wrote it down. I
Yeah.
saw it. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, do you
Go
want to go
ahead.
ahead with
No,
that?
no, no. That's
No,
okay.
we're
I was
also
just trying to throw it in.
we're just checking out the chat. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's a guy called Tim Pool who's like, he's like an independent journalist. He's a young guy. He's like, maybe he's in his like mid-20s, like maybe he's like, I don't know, nearer 30, but he was on Joe Rogan, so like, got into him. I thought he was great. And he's really trying to expose all the like the poison that's going on with the media at the moment. And he's covering all these like crazy stories that are going on. He does a lot of stuff with like, the full 4chan thing and the that frog thing that keeps popping up and how we're living in clown world in the media. And yet even he is not touching the Michael Jackson case. And I think to myself, you know what? Like, how can you be talking about the insanity of the media when you've got the nucleus of that problem that has been going on since the 80s? And even you guys won't touch it because you think even to say the name Michael Jackson, it's just, whoa, that's just going to just, I don't know, undermine all the work that you're doing on trying to expose how broken the media is. Like, even they won't touch it. And it's like, oh my God, people, like, wake
The
up. Like,
media
if
is
you don't,
terrible, terrible,
for him,
terrible,
it's been that
terrible.
for since year dot. This has been Michael Jackson's story with the media since the 80s. And people are
Just
just like, the media's
just
fake
the
news
current
today.
stuff that's going on.
Yeah, with the current stuff. But if you
Oh,
look
I'm
at him
sorry.
as an example, it's been him, that's been his life. And it's like, so you want to say to these people, by all means, expose the fake news for what's going on in the moment. But don't forget, you've got a prime example here that's been 30 years in the making and is going on after somebody's dead. Like, this can never be acceptable, like, ever. And everybody needs to be talking about this. And I feel like, why is it just the fans? We do have support, crazily enough, coming from white ring Republican guys like that John Ziegler,
Hmm.
who's out on his own being incredible. And it's like, so where is the support coming from? It's coming from the Michael Jackson fans in the eye of the shitstorm, or it's coming from like white collar conservative Republicans. Like, that's how insane. And everybody else is just not touching it.
No,
Just don't understand. I just do not understand that. So I don't know how that's going to be addressed or
well,
how or if.
the media, I mean, they're all controlled by what, 5 or 6 companies.
Rupert
All of them.
Murdoch. Rupert bloody Murdoch, yeah.
No, yeah, Rupert Murdoch is just Fox News, but even that, I think Fox News is up for sale or is sold, and it's not really quite known yet to who, because he sold off all his assets to Disney, except for Fox News and Fox Sports, and I think that's still up for grabs or something.
Oh my.
But you have all the other ones, NBC, you have Comcast, Disney, all that stuff. I mean, I think eventually it's like 4 or 5 companies that control the complete narrative. So yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, completely. So that's the way, I mean, the only way that you're going to get any truth really is through the fragmentation and like through the media that's, I don't know, you've got to go to different channels now. There's no way that you can trust anything that's, just transmitted through the traditional means. And that's the thing, that's the other thing about the words Michael Jackson is that it just generates money in some way or another for all these different reasons. But any of these reasons have absolutely squat to do with protecting him or his legacy. It's just like, oh my God, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And it's not just with Michael Jackson, it's with everything. The media just gets away with lying about everything. I mean,
Everything.
apparently it's okay to call Michael Jackson a pedophile.
Yeah, it has been. But this is the thing.
There
Like,
has to be no
him is an
evidence, no
example.
proof of anything. They can just
Ever.
say whatever the fuck they want, even if it's proven
It
that
was.
it
This is the
was a
thing. There was
lie.
never enough. Yeah.
Then
It doesn't. It never
still
mattered.
they get away with it. And that's
It
with
never
everything
mattered.
these days.
I know, and it's so. And this is another thing as well. So I was thinking to myself, like, what needs to happen to his sound or his voice? Like, he's the king of pop, and we all recognize that. But I'm just hoping that someone like some artists start using his music in kind of a counterculture way. So he moves from like pop culture to counterculture because I think that in many ways, yeah, we won't hear him in commercials. Maybe less. I mean, who gives a shit? Like, no one listened to him because they wanted to hear him on a Pepsi commercial or whatever. But I think the general airplay might be affected or whatever. But I think people need to start sampling him. So if there's any artists that are listening out there, you need to start sampling him in some kind of like bloody like Rage Against the Machine type of tracks. I don't know. Like, he needs to be like put out there, like, all the Angry History album, like, just start sampling that shit and just like getting his sound out there in a way that's just, you know, to these elites, to these like pigs that are just, covering each other's backs. And, with the Weinstein trial coming up, it would be amazing if his voice could move into that kind of genre.
But I think that Sony controls his music now again too since 2018 because they signed that new deal for 7 years. So
Yeah.
eventually, those same elites are still in control over his music as well.
But what
And
about
over,
sampling? Can people not just sample it and just like throw it out there, or will they
I
get
don't
like
know. I don't think you
like
can just sample it. You
copyright
have
strikes?
to actually buy
Ah,
the rights to that. So and I think you have to buy those from Sony partly and maybe partly the state. I don't know exactly how that works, but you can't just take Smooth Criminal and use that in your own song.
uh,
No, definitely
not
not.
even just throw it up on SoundCloud and get it like copied like a million times, and then they can't do anything about it. But
If they can track it back to the source,
yeah. Oh
the source is
God,
pretty much
everything's just on
effed.
lockdown. But
I'm gonna try to cuss a little bit less today.
Yay!
Yay!
Susa, I sent you a screenshot of somebody asked about Lynn Nottage and if you were going to discuss that. I sent you a screenshot because I can't read and push to talk at the same time. Of Alicia sent a response about Lynn Nottage to somebody, so I didn't know if you wanted to read that out and just kind of discuss that.
Oh. Yeah, sure. I honestly I don't because I wrote it down. I saw the question. Um. Oh, I did something weird with my computer. Sorry. Um. I haven't seen much about that. Maybe any one of you have seen it. I saw the article, but I also saw a response from Alicia, pretty pissed. And I mean, I've been emailing with Alicia quite a lot lately, and I've never seen her that pissed off. Honestly, she says not to believe what the media writes about her. So
She's been saying that it's people are taking it so seriously over a tabloid misquote.
yeah.
But then Lynn Nottage herself, as far as I know, hasn't yet come out and said, no, this is exaggerated or this isn't true either. Now, if it was exaggerated and if it was a misprint, surely she would come out and say, no, it was said they misquoted me or they got it the wrong way.
Well, what I was interested in is that Alicia said too that Michael Jackson was flawed, and that was. Does anyone have a link to that? Um, actually, that email that she sent.
I
But it's
sent you
something like he was flawed, and that will definitely be coming back in the musical. And I'm like,
I'll check my Twitter. I'm pretty sure I shared it on Twitter.
what was this about, by the way? This conversation that you had to do with this Lynn?
I think she is directing or at least in control of that musical that they're making about Michael.
Oh, right. So she's saying that they're gonna stop. They're gonna show his flaws more.
Well, yeah, we don't really know what exactly she said or if she was misquoted, but if you read the article, it looked like she thought he was guilty. So the fans
Now
were
that
like, "Oh my
sucks.
god, how can she make the musical if she thinks he's guilty?"
What, you know what? Can I just say that misses such an important aspect that we need to really talk about, right? Because I think one of the things that you can't, like, when you say you're a Michael Jackson fan, again, the shit does go down with a lot of people. And it's just like, I'm talking to a crazy person or whatever. And if we would put forward, like, listen, we know Michael Jackson was not perfect. And if we talk more about his flaws in the genuine way, in the fact that he was incredibly gullible, like he let his children down, like the fact that he let his children down to the point where he left them without a parent, the only parent that they ever knew, because he absolutely did not have to let the Obizos into his goddamn house when Chris Tucker flew all the way to Florida or wherever he was to tell him, do not trust these people. And when you think to yourself, why frig did you do that? Like, there's plenty of reasons to get mad at Michael Jackson. And I think if we talk about those more, people will see, like, we're not blind to his flaws. He had plenty. He was incredibly flivorous. What's the word for it? Flivorous with his money. Like, he just, like, I mean, the fact he was broke by the end of his days, there was no need for that.
Somebody in
Like,
here named Jay Parks. Are
I
you
think we
related to
really need
him?
to talk about his
I'm
flaws
sorry.
in an honest way, but to think that she's going to go with that route is just so disappointing. Like, I really hope.
Well, we
That's what
actually
she's
covered
talking
all his
about.
flaws. I think in the live from yesterday, right, Joe?
Oh, really?
Pretty much. I mean, bottom line,
We've been very
honestly, the
real
bottom
about
line
him.
is, right.
Yeah,
And the
there's
bottom line
plenty of
is that's
reasons to
what a
be
lot of
angry
fans
at
have to
him.
get out of is which is Michael Jackson was a human being.
Right.
Period.
Yes,
We all have
exactly.
flaws. He has, no matter if
Yeah.
he's Michael Jackson or not, he's still at the end of the day a human being, and he makes mistakes like anybody else in the
Yeah.
world.
We
Period.
have to let people know that we see that as fans, though, because I feel like when people look at Michael Jackson fans, they think that we don't see that. And I want to
Well, the
say,
reason
listen,
why
you
they
can
do,
dislike
I'm gonna
him.
play devil's advocate here, but the reason why the other people that are not fans see fans that way is because of certain fans giving Michael Jackson a god complex. That's why.
Yeah.
They're
That is
putting him
why.
on a pedestal too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Pretty
can
much.
see how you can appreciate someone for his art, his music and stuff, but some fans are really going too far and see him as some
Right.
kind of god or angel, and it's
Right.
almost
Archangel
blasphemous.
Michael, or he's my God, or I mean,
He
come
is
on, like,
Jesus, or
yeah,
that's not
and
helping.
that's
Well, you know
part
what?
of the
I would
reason.
even give those people a pass as long as you see the flaws. Like, I don't care. You can say that he made you feel transcendent. You can say that. Like, I don't care. Because as long
Right.
as you also recognize that he would, and you can conversate about the parts of him that deserve to be criticized, like I said, especially what he did with his children. Like the fact he left them like in that situation because of those terrible decisions that he made needs to be talked about more. And I'll
Well, we
give
did
people a
sort
pass
of touch
for,
on the Arvizo and why he allowed the Arvizos into his home. We did talk about that a little bit last week in the live last week.
yeah.
And that even Michael himself was a little bit skeptical about the Arvizos, but with him, he just wanted to. He saw a child asking for his help, and he just couldn't deny any child. And we discussed the James Bolger situation where that he and Lisa Marie Presley had a complete argument and row over the fact that the two boys that did that to James Bolger, he wanted to go and see them and hug them and show them love. And Lisa Marie said, "Are you crazy? That's rewarding them for what they did to that boy." And he said, "But if you look at their past and you look at their history, they must have been neglected of love. They must not have felt love. I just want to show them that love." So for him, his naivety in a way that, I mean, he just wanted to help every child. Susan said it many times, Giles said it many times. Everything he did was for the children, and he just wanted to love the children. And I think that's where his problem was. He couldn't, he could see after the fact. I mean, you can see in interviews online all the time where he said you could tell he was kind of skeptical about the story that the Arvizos were saying about Gavin. Was he really ill? Was he really sick? Did he really have cancer? He said, she told me her son had cancer. And then I think, was it Chris Tucker that said how quickly he recovered or something? I can't
Yeah,
recall which.
didn't they scam Chris Tucker, try to scam him as well?
There was another guy, the
And
guy with the big
what's his other
chin.
name? The guy that had that late night show who has all the cars.
Chacho guy, yeah.
What's his
Jay
name?
Leno.
Jay Leno.
Yeah, but this is my point though, is like when you've got children, because they had parents, Prince and Blanca by then, right? And if you've got 3 kids, any seed of skepticism should be enough for you to say no. And you've got your friend there saying no. And so my point is, absolutely don't like Michael Jackson, but don't like him for the right reasons. Don't dislike this guy, or don't think. That's what I mean. Is just there's plenty to get mad about, but just make sure it's for the right cause. Otherwise, it's just, I don't know. That's just that's just my thoughts on it. And I think that's something that people need to talk
Poetic, you can ask me a question. I'm reading, I'm in the live, even though I'm on here, but I'm looking at my computer too. So if you want to ask me a question, you can go ahead.
Farhad, you can speak, right?
Hey, yeah, sorry, I just
Yes.
didn't want to interrupt
Hey,
you.
Farhad.
Yeah, hi.
Just making sure you're
I,
not muted.
I
Yeah, yeah,
always
I'm
want to call
here.
him Farthead. I don't know why. Don't ask me.
No,
When I look at his name, it's to me it just comes across as Farthead.
no, Farhad is fine.
Okay, I see Nina sent me the screenshot of that email from Alicia. I'll read it.
Okay.
To
Wait.
Mel. Did I what?
Oh no, Poetic asked me, did you talk to that lady who wants to talk to you, Ja? What lady? I don't know. Probably not, because I don't know who you're talking about.
The answer is no. Okay, she writes to Mel, I think. Many fans have expressed their concern about this article to us, and frankly, we are disappointed that fans of Michael's are attacking an award-winning, highly successful artist based on a line, not a quote, reported in the tabloid media from a gossip columnist in the Daily Mail, no less. Michael's fan community is responding to this report as many in the public respond to the uncorroborated tabloid reports about Michael, and neither response is acceptable. Lynn Nottage is a widely respected Pulitzer Prize winning playwright and a fan of Michael's. The musical will, of course, be a celebration of Michael's art, life, and music. His life was not
I hate
without
to interrupt you, Susan, but
controversy.
we have a troll.
Oh.
Regiment 65.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
How can you tell? What is he saying?
I don't know, but everybody's going in on him.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that one on my comments. He's blocked on. I thought I blocked him on the comments that it would be blocked from the.
Okay, Poetic.
Let me block him.
But
No, wasn't blocked yet. It's blocked
I'm
now.
curious to know what he said.
Well, no, I mean, if he's a troll, let's not repeat in the live what he's saying. People in the comments have obviously got it covered and they've highlighted it to us. So what if he's trolling and he's saying stuff, let's not repeat in the live what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Okay. Anyway, where were we?
I'm sorry.
Right. Lynn Nottage is a widely respected Pulitzer Prize winning playwright and a fan of Michael's. The musical will, of course, be a celebration of Michael's art, life, and music. His life was not without controversy, which must be reflected, but the idea that the musical would be anything less than celebration is absurd. Well, I half agree with Alicia, half do not agree with Alicia, because I agree that you cannot just bash someone based on some kind of tabloid until you're very sure that she said that or not. But to say she is a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright, there are plenty of journalists that have Pulitzer Prizes that are full of fucking shit. So, see, there I go.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. No, but you know that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, Dan Reed. I mean, look at Louis Theroux. I mean, that guy.
But the stupid people always give each other awards, you know? That doesn't say anything.
They just put their nose up each other's asses. It means absolutely squat. Like, those people are just, oh.
I mean, look at the Oscars and stuff.
Oh,
stupid
God,
people always give each other awards, so that's a non-argument.
Yeah.
Brutally Lauren said to the MJ Project, you guys do amazing work. Love you guys.
Love you too.
I have to say, you guys are amazing. So you've got a fan on here with you, seriously. There's something else I wanted to touch on, by the way, which is kind of like being an interesting thing. Can I talk about Twitter for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah, so...
You can talk about whatever you want. We don't have a schedule.
Alrighty.
So...
Okay, I'm going to go in on Twitter. Okay, so I'm really not that big on social, for instance. I'm big on YouTube. Everything else is like blur, whatever. And I only really use Twitter when I've got something to say. And I remember my first go on Twitter was when I followed Elizabeth Taylor after MJ died in 2009. And I remember that I came back on it after Brexit, and I came back on it for a human rights podcast I was doing. And then I came back on it for Leaving Neverland. And of course, you go in on Twitter and oh my God, it's absolute. I have to say, right, like I've had two almost parallel experiences from both inside the MJ fam Twitter kind of hashtag and very much from without it. And I'll talk about from the one without. I got involved. I didn't realize that it was this guy, but I got in with a guy who is a very famous vigilante in the UK.
A what?
He's a vigilante. He basically sets up people to trap them he sets himself up as the underage girl.
Oh, Stinson Hunter?
I wasn't going to say his name, but yeah, him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I didn't realize it was. I didn't know who he was. I saw like he was high profile, but he put "Leaving Neverland" hashtag in his bio, and so obviously he drew in all the Michael Jackson, and I was amongst them. And I'm not going to get into the details of what went on, but we descended down this thread. It was me and these like other guys in his crew, and it got pretty. He was dark. I didn't even know who this guy was, but instantly, like the stuff he was saying to me, just felt you felt the darkness coming out of the phone. Just reading his messages, I was like, "Geez, who is this bloody dude?" And then they kind of like micro doxed me, and what I mean by that is like they let me know that they knew who I was, and lo and behold, within about a week or something, I had my account suspended because I did like Twitter. I swear to God, is supporting this guy
Oh yeah,
because
of course
he
they
is
are.
doxing. He had two of my the account I'm using at the moment is an old Brexit account. Okay, because he actually got two of my accounts shut down, and it was just like, how the heck? There was nothing in anything I said that could have possibly been misconstrued as any kind of threat or misbehavior or anything like that. So
The
what the
best
hell?
thing to do with him, though, is just to block him.
I
And
did.
his hacker mate is the Neo
Yes.
Geo kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
got to
yeah.
go.
I didn't
You've got to
know
go
these
and block
people.
all of.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were because you got to remember the hashtag was what drew me in. And then the next thing I know, and then later on, I discovered like, holy, because I was like trying to get on their podcast as well because I'd listened to what they were talking about. I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to like get in with these guys and try and talk some sense into them. Little did I know who these people really were, and then that came to be known afterwards. However, I have to say that so I used my old Brexit account, then I started like posting in the MJ family, in the MJ fam kind of community. And I'm telling you, there are some bullies in there as well. There are some really, like, I have to say, negative people who are operating in there too, who will go at you for, I don't know, like I've been involved in a thread where someone was asking a question. I went forward with some information that was absolutely true. I linked to it later. I'd absolutely got it spot on. But I was jumped on by these people just because maybe they didn't know me or people are paranoid and they don't trust. And I think to myself, you know what? We've got to like pack this in. Like we're supposed to be in this together. And I get that people don't trust each other, but reach out to them privately or like be polite or be civil because I swear if this is happening to me, like surely it's happened to other people as well. And it knocked me for six, man. Like it knocked me like for a good few hours. I just felt horrible. And I thought, this is not, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm not on Twitter that much, but that place is dark. I swear to God.
It really
Maybe I'm
is.
just not cut out. I'm not cut out for Twitter, I don't think. I'm not made of hard enough stuff.
It really is, and that
What do you
Stinson
guys think?
Hunter is really an asshole.
But
I've seen that
yeah.
pedophile hunter documentary of Dan Grade,
Oh,
and they make it look like he is such a good guy. He's catching the pedos. No, he's not. He's helping the pedos.
oh, dude,
Because whatever
man.
he does is completely messing up the police investigations, as if the police doesn't have undercover people sitting there. But at least they go by the book, and they will be able to catch those predators. Now he is completely messing it up to a point where the police can't do anything with him, and they go free.
Well, I just don't
Maritev,
like vigilantes
I'm
anyway.
sorry,
I
let me
don't
say this.
like it.
Maritev,
Sorry.
Luther Vandross is deceased, sweetheart. He's been dead almost 20 years.
Yeah,
So he can't defend Michael Jackson.
Luther's dead. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned.
Because she said, well, where are all the stars that did tributes at the MSG concert? Luther Vandross, Usher. I'm like, Luther is gone, baby girl.
No,
Oh,
it's not yet 25.
John
July 1st,
Legend.
2005. So he's
No,
been dead
okay.
for a while.
Can you believe John Legend was up there? Like, it just kills me.
Can you
That
believe John Legend's
effing guy.
behind?
That effing guy.
Can you believe that John Legend is carrying his wife's ass?
Jaw
Oh my.
Jaw had a meme on Facebook that reminded me of that. Okay, sorry, go ahead. What's with John
Like,
Legend?
oh, just the whole. I can't go there. Just this is the whole thing about that funeral. Is like you know, it's like what Emmanuel Lewis said. It's like you had all these people, like, you know, there was some really genuine people in there, but you had so many people phoning about like times gone by. What was Madonna doing up there? Like, you know what I mean? Like MJ didn't even like her. It was just
Madonna is the only one that can make a tribute speech all about herself.
Yep.
Like Michael Jackson, I went through this. Like Michael Jackson, I went through this.
But
It's
me,
like,
me.
oh,
Yeah.
they are eerily parallel though, I have to say, and I think she was just really drawing attention to that because it is crazy, like how their lives.
No, I think she took a moment to draw attention to
Yeah,
herself.
I
they
know.
might started off the same a little bit, but she completely went the different. I mean, there was
Which
a T way there, and Michael went right, and she went completely left.
Yeah, I
which one
know.
are you guys talking about?
Madonna. We've
I
just
mean, I know
moved
you're
on to
talking
the
about Madonna, but
disingenuine characters at the funeral.
no. I understand that. I'm saying, what speech are you guys talking about?
Funeral.
No,
Oh,
it wasn't at the funeral. I don't think
It wasn't at the funeral.
it was some kind of award, wasn't it?
No, I thought it
Award
was at
show?
no. She spoke at the
No,
funeral, man.
I
I'm
don't think
sure she
wasn't
Madonna
at
was
the
did.
at the
funeral.
funeral.
She was whose funeral? Not Michael's.
No,
Was
she
she
wasn't
not
at
at
Michael's
when
funeral.
did she speak about? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Fake news me. Was that like
Fake
Madonna was
news.
not at Michael Jackson's funeral?
No, it was an
When was
award.
that then?
I think it was an award show
I think
or
it was.
something.
Yeah, I think it was the
Oh
Grammys.
God,
YC Blue said
excuse
Grammys
me. Oh
2010. I
right.
think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone
Oh
says
right.
Grammy 2010.
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
I was gonna say, when did
Okay, I mean, there was plenty of other fake people that were there as well, but John Legend stands out as an absolute piece of crap.
Well,
Like,
he
I can't
wasn't at the
stand
funeral
that.
either.
No,
Wasn't he playing alongside Stevie Wonder?
No.
no.
Yeah, that's true.
Was
That's true. The
he?
song was
John
Yes,
Legend.
I got that one right. Damn it, I was going to say twice in a row. Jeez.
I'm
No,
gonna
I'm
look
sure
it
he was
up.
playing with
I'm gonna
Stevie
look it
I'm
up.
gonna
Wonder.
look it
I
up.
have that.
John
I
Legend
gotta.
wasn't there. I'm
Uh,
sure.
there
No,
there was
John Legend wasn't at his funeral.
Aren't you
Was he not playing
confused?
with Stevie
No,
Wonder?
you're confused with John Mayer. I
Yeah, John
think.
Mayer was there, not John
Oh my
Legend.
God, don't listen to me anymore. Like, this is shocking. When was John Legend doing some tribute?
May I say
He,
that there was a tribute to Michael Jackson by Stevie Wonder. The song was "The Way You Make Me Feel," and John Lennon was playing the piano. Probably
But
yeah,
that
that
but
was
was
that
the
not
wasn't
the
at the
Yes,
memorial.
funeral.
right.
no
I
no
need
no
to just
not
like
the
rewatch
memorial.
the funeral because I'm putting in
Right,
everyone in there. I'm gonna be putting
right.
like, you know, oh my God, just anyone.
Yeah,
Jesus. Okay, forget that. All right, but anyways, piece of shit.
yeah.
Can we just talk about what
I
a
don't
piece of
think
shit that guy
anyone
is?
likes him.
Good. I never
I
bloody
never hear people say, "Hey, I like John Legend." Everyone says,
You
"I
know what?
can't stand the guy."
When John Legend first came on the scene, his first CD was the best, the only CD that I loved. His first CD. Other than that, after that, he was. I didn't like him.
Which one was
He
Green
liked
Light?
to leave his own hype. That
Green Light
guy.
was
Then
his first CD.
Ah, that's the one. Okay,
He's a
Yeah.
yeah.
spoiled
And
little brat too, because
Yes, he
my
was.
brother works
ooh,
in TV, and back then he was one of those runners who had to get those celebs, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And
But
John
go
Legend
ahead.
was performing, and he was performing for about 5 minutes, but he demanded
Mhm.
100 bottles of Fiji water. Well,
Oh
Fiji
God.
water here
to
is
do
really
what?
so expensive, but okay, they got him 100 bottles of Fiji water because they thought, oh, maybe he's coming with a lot of people. He drank half a bottle
Talk
Oh, just
about
these
diva.
people.
and then left the
These
rest
But
there.
people.
Oh God, it's
right.
ever since then I can't stand the guy.
Can we take a moment though? Can we take a moment, everybody, and give Stephanie Mills a standing ovation?
yeah,
Absolutely love her. To me, she is the only one at her height in her career that has came out full blast, like in total defense of Michael, not caring what nobody says. I
Right.
love her. Thank you, Stephanie Mills. Thank you.
Okay, I need to find out who this woman is. Who is she? Because I don't.
Stephanie
Do you
Mills.
know, man? I don't.
Stephanie
Who is
Mills.
she?
Actually, Stephanie Mills was
she
initially
dated
supposed to
him.
play. She was actually
Oh,
supposed to be Dorothy on The Wiz before Diana Ross. She
before.
was.
Whoa.
Yes, she was the
Didn't
original. Yeah, she was
Jar? Didn't
supposed to
she
be.
say she hoped to marry Michael?
Oh yeah, her and Michael dated
Yeah.
back in the 70s when he lived in New York. with Latoya.
When he was teeny oh my God.
Yeah, and she really loved Michael. She loved, absolutely loved Michael, and I believe she still does to this day. But yeah, she was supposed to be the original Dorothy on The Wiz.
Like anyone
Yeah,
who's
she's
who
if
is
you look her
standing up
up,
for
her
Michael
name
at
is
the
Stephanie
moment?
Mills. She has a whole lot of hits from back in the day. And her most famous, well, not really most famous one, but remember the song "Home" in The Wiz? That's Stephanie Mills' song.
I never knew that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this is all stuff that I've got to be like getting caught up on. This is ridiculous. So who is actually standing up for him at the moment? Because I swear, like,
Stephanie
There are
Mills.
lots.
it's
She
There
is.
just
are lots
few
of
and
people.
far
There are lots
between.
of people. Bridget Nielsen
Bridget
has
Nielsen,
always
yeah.
stood up. Yep.
Oh,
Mhm.
Kathy
We've also
Hilton
had
and Paris Hilton. I have to give them a shout out. My goodness.
Kelly Parker, who was Katie in Moonwalker.
Oh no, Phil, sorry,
got-
you're wrong with that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Phil, you are totally wrong with that. Michael has not denied Stephanie Mills. He did say that he dated Stephanie Mills back in the day. So that's an outright lie.
Who said that?
Phil said Stephanie Mills would say she dated Michael, but I don't think Michael would say the same. I think Michael like them white. No, Michael liked all colors. Let's not misconstrue that. That's something that's out there that us as fans need to let go of. Michael loved all women of all colors. Period.
As long as it has ass.
Exactly.
No ass.
Wasn't
But
the
he
last
did.
girl he was with? She looked kind of like mixed or almost Indian looking. What was she called again?
Who?
Was it like I don't know. She had like long dark hair, like kind of like chocolate skin, long dark hair. Called.
You're not talking about the lady in the video, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, she was a groupie, right? She was like a little bit like.
Oh, are you talking about? Does she have a book now?
I don't. Is she called Shant? No.
Yeah, Shayna Montegal or whatever. However.
Yeah. Was she legit?
Shayna.
Well, she was a groupie.
Oh, but was she real though?
Yeah, she's. I mean, hey,
you,
I
you
wasn't in the
know,
bedroom.
you know it's true when she says, "Come on." You
I
have.
wasn't in the bedroom, but if she said it, hey, I mean,
I don't think it went as deep as she might have thought it was, but yeah, I believe her.
If you want my personal opinion, if you guys, do you guys want my personal opinion?
Let's keep it nice because she has always defended Michael.
Well, no, I'm not.
I'm saying that I believe her.
Actually, no. Wait a minute. Yeah, she defended him, but you guys do know, and I think it's in her book where she said that. Yeah, that she used to get jealous or whatever because of all the time that Michael spent with the boys or whatever, and it kind of made her rethink if he was or not.
Yeah, she called it inappropriate or something?
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly, but there was
So
she might not have meant it like that, but it wasn't really helpful how she put it in her book.
She did, yeah. And then but my personal opinion of that, I believe something happened. I'm gonna kind of keep it PG-13. I believe that she went down south on him. How about that?
Oh,
that's what I believe happened, which she kind of says it in her book.
What's the name of her book?
Okay,
next
I don't know.
People that have been speaking out and defended Michael before we go completely off track and start getting pornographic here.
No, we're not. No, I just wanted to
we
say
were
that.
saying that we had Kelly Parker, who played Katie in Moonwalker, who had her Twitter account suspended. She's been very vocal, very consistent with her.
Yeah, she has.
What? Twitter has suspended her account?
Poetic.
Yeah, because she got because a blue tick troll guy thought he had a bit of an ego and was really baiting her, and she was firm and in her convictions, always standing up for Michael. Kelly Parker. I mentioned Bridget Nielsen as well. We've also had Emmanuel Lewis. He doesn't want to speak about it, but he made a comment. Macaulay Culkin has said something also that
Brett,
Donald Trump's son. Somebody tweeted and mentioned him saying, that Donald Trump's children spent lots of time with Michael Jackson at his home in the
so did
home.
what is the mom, Ivanka, right? Or is that
Yeah.
Ivana?
Ivana.
Ivana is the mom. She said the same thing.
Hilton. Yeah, even the Kathy Hilton, the Hiltons, they have also Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian used to date TJ Jackson back in the day. TJ is one of Michael's nephews who was in 3T.
She went
Kim
from
Kardashian
TJ
did
to
like that.
Kanye West.
Well, she dated TJ when they were like
When in
freaking
high
kids. They
school.
were like 15 or something like that.
Yeah, when they were in high school.
And the other one, the oldest sister, she dated Taro.
Peter Andre defended MJ. He's still around. Isn't he from that song, Mysterious Girl?
Oh, we love him in
Yes,
Oh,
Britain.
God.
God.
In Britain,
Also,
it's kind of like a
there's been,
daytime chat show,
Ian
kind of.
Wright.
The mothers love him.
Ian Wright has defended him. Troy, the magician, I met Troy at the Scream premiere launch party. Troy has defended Michael Jackson constantly. Ian Wright, a British football player, you'll probably know him, Sasha.
Yes, of course.
So
Yeah.
I mean, there are lots of celebrities that have been. I mean, but obviously people aren't paying.
Yeah, but
attention
it's not
to
really
one.
the mainstream celebrities. That's
true.
that is what's so interesting. The mainstream ones that are
There's
really
no
having
Beyonce.
to defend their careers. Apparently, they're either silent or they're viciously against them.
And there's a very ridiculous argument I've read recently. They say that the celebrities don't defend him because it will bring more attention to the movie. And I'm like, seriously, more attention than it already has? Come on.
Right. That's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a cop out. And just like I said last week on the other live, I get, especially, and I'm going to go back to this because I just strongly believe, everybody should stand up for what's right, period. But it's very, very disappointing for all the stars that were supposedly, quote unquote, Michael's friends, especially the African American or African whatever, Black people. None of them have. I am so disgusted. Where's Steve Harvey? Wasn't he all
He
in the
didn't know.
crowd?
Didn't he say something, Steve Harvey?
When? Where?
I don't remember. I have to look. I thought Steve Harvey said something.
I haven't
He
seen
did
it. I don't know
years
if he
ago.
did.
I mean, he
years
is.
ago during the
Oh, okay. It
trial.
was
I
old,
I'm
thought
talking
maybe.
about now. I'm talking about now. Where's Usher? Where is Chris
Oh
Brown?
my God! Right?
Where is
That's like
come on, like
Jason Derulo.
Neo.
Derulo.
Where's Neo? Or even Chris Brown. Like I don't know where. Like, well, I don't know. He said something, didn't he? Did Chris Brown say something?
Jason
if he
Derulo.
has, I haven't
T.I.
seen
said
it.
something.
It's just it's
Is
just truly
Ti the
disappointing
one?
to me.
Ti is that
Oh,
the
yeah,
one that
yeah,
was in the
T.I.
Under the
is-
Mask?
Yeah, no, T.I.
That
is the rapper. Yes,
that I
he's
was
very vocal.
certain was Bobby Brown. Seriously, I was like, no, what?
No, you're talking
What's
about the
that
other
guy
guy.
called?
Oh, that's a
T-Pain.
different.
You're talking about T-Pain.
What's Mariah
Oh,
Carey's husband?
I'm so
called?
confused.
Nick
Mariah-
Cannon.
Nick Cannon, yeah.
Nick Cannon. He
I'll
has
be
said
right back, guys.
something.
I think he was
No, I
supportive.
thought Nick Cannon had thrown him under the bus.
Yeah, Nick Cannon said he wanted to say F Oprah
Right,
for what
that's what he said.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh
'Cause
God! What do you think of the Corey Feldman flip flopping?
He was in some kind of interview that I was watching, and it was very annoying because the interviewer kept talking himself instead of letting Nick Cannon talk. But he did say
he
F
also
Oprah.
kind of, in a way, he did, but he kind of manipulated the conversation really cleverly. I found that he ended up managing to get Nick Cannon to start referring to Michael Jackson as a monster. Did you notice that?
Oh.
No, I did not. But I don't think I watched the whole thing.
Well, watch it. I mean, you can start off. Nick Cannon is starting off going, it's all bull crap, and obviously about the money, and that he wanted to say a big F you to Oprah, but the guy, the interviewer, keeps saying, because it's on YouTube. Watch the YouTube comments. Somebody also else noticed it as well. Said, how the hell, Nick Cannon, did you manage to get that interviewer to get you to manipulate you to start referring to Michael as a monster? Because the interviewer started calling Michael the monster and questioning it, wording it in a way so that Nick Cannon then started to refer to Michael as being the monster.
No, I don't think I watched it that far in.
Regarding regarding Chris Brown, and people mentioned that in the chat that he's making a new video where he's gonna pay his tribute to Michael Jackson. I think the video is not there yet, but it's gonna come out soon, I guess.
Well, that's brilliant to hear. Like, really. And by the way, with that Nick Cannon thing, they've just advertised that as Nick Cannon calling Michael Jackson a monster. Like that's like the headline. That's like the kind of like clickbait title that those videos have. It doesn't talk about the manipulation of his interview at all. And it's just angled it like he's been on the hater side, because that's what I thought until I just heard you guys explain that's what's happened. So they're just finding ways to just constantly reconfigure whatever people say.
But the press have done a bit more of a turnaround. I mean, the tide is starting to shift a little bit with the headlines that we're seeing. Like they're starting to report now the inconsistencies that have been found.
It just feels like this. Okay, this is what's crazy. Like, I think that, you know, how we're saying, you know, a lot of these people aren't talking about the movie. That's okay. You know, don't talk about the movie, but the fact you don't talk about the scenarios surrounding it, the people who are pushing this, or the fact that this movie ever got aired in the first place. You know, it's absolutely insane. Like, if they don't want to use and talk about Michael Jackson and seem to be supporting him overtly, they should absolutely be discussing the context. You know, the fact that they're not doing that is unforgivable.
That's kind of what the Michael Jackson Innocent Project was started for, was to kind of just put out there the facts and relay about every allegation and everything that has been made. So if you go back and kind of watch some of the videos that Susa and the rest of the group have created, you can kind of get a bit of an idea of why they think that this documentary, and most of the people in the chat now have followed the channel, they've watched the videos, they've been following what, you know, is believed as why they want to use Michael Jackson as like a poster child to kind of get paedophilia accepted.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of to use Michael Jackson to normalize it in some kind of way. And it's obviously Leaving Neverland has kind of served as some kind of distraction and smokescreen against what's been kind of going on with the Harvey Weinstein situation.
And
I
not
mean,
Yeah.
not just Harvey Weinstein. I mean, there's way more even going on, and they just like always they're trying to shift the focus to Michael Jackson.
Oh, always. He's serving about this film serves about 5 different parallel agendas.
Yep.
Because then you can also talk about HBO. And I would actually, there's a great video out there. There's a guy called Jeremy Vaney he was on it from day one as well. He's done about 5 different videos called The Mystique of Molestation, about how they use molestation as it's some kind of, you know, there's a whole mystery surrounding it to cover up the plot holes. And it's like, no, there's certain things that happen when people are molested. Stop trying to make it so mysterious to cover up for your howling inconsistencies in your story. And the other thing he talks about is HBO and the emotional truth agenda, which is what Oprah is part of, whereby back in the day, maybe it's about 4 years ago. Have you seen the documentary called The Montage of Heck about Kurt Cobain? Anybody?
I think I have, but I'm not sure. I've seen a few
Well,
documentaries about Kurt.
it was this one particular called The Montage of Heck, and the director, alongside one of HBO's like bigwigs, was sat in an interview saying that there is no such thing as objective truth. It's all about emotional truth. It's all about this idea that we're going to
What?
get you by. They're going to. I quote: "There is
He
no
said
such thing as
that?
objective truth." This director,
What an
basically, they are
idiot.
going. Elon Musk said this as well. Elon Musk has said that
Elon
what they are
Musk said
going
that?
for. Now, he's not involved in this video, but he said that what media does, what social media does, what they're going to start continuing to do, they get you by the limbic system. There's a way in which your body will impulsively respond to anything emotional, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's a ratings war to tap into that. And the truth be
It's a
damned,
new kind of marketing
it's a new
tactic.
marketing, exactly. And Oprah is not always been about like tell your truth, tell your truth. Like,
Yep.
no, what is the truth? You know, this is criminality that we're talking about. It's not like, oh, my truth is that I think this sofa is nice. Your truth is that you think it's disgusting. No, we're talking about whether people's lives should be, you know, destroyed. And there's no place for I mean, you can't go to court and say, well, my truth is, that's why we have a legal system. But
Yes.
HBO, on the other hand, are thinking that we can make entertainment out of criminalizing individuals in this way, using our truth as some kind of like cover. And because, like I said, it responds to people's, you know, deep, dark impulses inside, and they have no way of cutting off from that. If you see something that's emotionally drawing to you, you can't see the truth in it. You just kind of feel how your body is reacting to it. And they think it's fair game now to be able to do that with a media called a documentary, which is supposed to be truthful in its essence. You know, you can do what you want to do with a film, but don't label it as a documentary. We should have a new label for it if that's the case.
Romello says in the chat, sorry, I honestly believe that celebrities like Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, Usher, Britney Spears, Mariah Carey will defend him, and I think Tush told them not to speak about it because of the Me Too movement. I don't think Tush told anyone not to speak out about anything, honestly. And I don't think people should shut up just because they're afraid to offend people. I mean, I had a few people reacting to the latest video where they either they said that I was a complete homophobe, transphobe, or whatever, which isn't true. I mean, that
on the basis of what did they say that?
Because they didn't get the point, and that's why I explained it even more twice in the comments. That one didn't have anything to do with the other. It was just a action reaction thing. But there are also people who say that yeah, you better not speak up. You better not say anything just to keep other people happy. Yeah, wrong person, you know? That's never, ever going to happen. So I think people should be less afraid to speak up, because that's why you have shit like this coming out, and films like Leaving Neverland actually get airtime because people are afraid to say, hey, this isn't right, guys. What am I seeing on my screen? What am I hearing on my screen? Because I was actually watching one of Pearl's videos. I watch them a lot, either just to laugh or to see if she has anything interesting. And she said that later on I saw that someone else say the same, so I think she got it from someone else, but that there was maybe that it was it could be seen as child pornography, even if there was not any images in there, but because it is fiction and it is
yeah,
I don't know if anyone, because I heard multiple people now about that, but
someone said there could have been a legal case.
Yeah, but I think it should first be proven in court that it's not true before you can actually do that.
Yeah, there's no reason to air it other than child pornography, because if you can't, because it's not true, because the testimonies upon which the film is based were thrown out of court. So you've just got fictional child pornography being spoken, like story time.
Right.
And that is it. That's the only way you can possibly look at this film. Like, when you look at it rationally.
It's disgusting. I mean,
it's wild.
It's really absolutely disgusting. Like, it's so you know, I'm not offended or disgusted pretty quick, but there were some parts in there where I thought, what?
But I think that was the idea, because they don't have the evidence. So in order to make you believe the movie, they have to affect you emotionally so that you believe. I think that was the whole idea about this movie.
Well, you have to make the light big enough.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the limbic system. It's got to get you by. You've got to react to it in a way that is just like visceral.
Yeah.
And it's fair game now. It's like open, you know, come one and all. Like, we're now just able to say, like, we know it's not true, but, you know, because they said, and because we can. It's basically because they can.
Hold on,
and
Phil.
People are so
I am not going.
Thank you.
I'm not going to lay off Pearl Jr. at all because she's not just unconventional, she's a liar. That's why I said sometimes she has good things, but then 5 minutes later it goes completely south again. But I'm not going to lay off of her. Sorry. I don't like her. I don't like what she's doing to the fans. So, no, sorry. She's not on Michael's side. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. I had to say that. So, wow, thank you, Juliet.
Have you guys discussed already the Motown tribute
No.
that Jacksons weren't invited there?
I'm sorry. I gotta
What?
interrupt for a second. Phil adds she does not back everything with facts. If you want to believe that, then that's on you. But Pearl Jr. does not back her things with facts. She backs her things with other people's work.
Phil, if you go to my other channel, there is a special playlist called Pearl Jr. Scam. And there you can see that her facts are not facts at all. She makes them all up. So let's not talk about Pearl Jr. and facts, please.
Please.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Motown, they're not
this,
invited?
Yeah, they're not invited.
Wait, who's not invited? The Jacksons?
Yeah, Jacksons are not invited, and John Legend is gonna be there actually.
Oh.
Wow.
When is this event? Is it like some kind of anniversary?
Yeah, some kind of anniversary. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, but people are talking about it on Twitter. So
You know what? You just go ahead, Motown, and just pretend that, like, you know, the biggest star on the planet in history didn't exist or something. I don't know. Like,
And
it's just, you know, do your thing.
I think it is due to that movie. I'm almost sure.
Oh, when are people gonna?
But didn't
I'm sorry.
they change?
Can I ask something real quick? This is totally off topic. I'm sorry. What does that mean when people do that? Because somebody just did a blue one.
They donate money.
Oh, that's what that means?
Muggle.
Oh yeah, that's top chat. That means they've donated. Maybe they've got a question or a comment jar. So if somebody does a top chat,
yeah, somebody else just did a blue one and said a question with the money too. Did y'all see that? I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just wondering what that was.
Just going to address it. We haven't discussed it, and I have invited someone who knows a lot about that. But I don't think he is on tonight. So I think we're going to move that to next week, because I really want to have a good conversation on that, and not just.
What is that? What was the question?
If we discussed the MK Ultra yet, because we were actually talking about that last week on the end. Remember where I didn't understand what you were saying?
Oh yeah.
So Muggle was asking if we already discussed that, but no, we haven't, and we're probably gonna do that next week. If that guy is able to come online then.
So what guy are you hoping to get next week, Susa, about to discuss the MK Ultra?
That's Richard. I did that podcast with him. Glitch in the Code podcast.
Yeah.
And I knew that he would be interested to join that conversation. He knows a lot about it, so he will be joining that.
This story, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper every time, like in any direction that you go in.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Is there something that you wanted us to discuss and talk about?
I was interested because we went off track there, but what about the why aren't the Jacksons invited in the Motown? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
Motown
pretty
performance,
sure.
the tribute that J-Lo participated in, and they changed the performance, the Motown tribute, and took the Jacksons out. Is that what you mean?
I don't know.
Is it something different? I mean, I know recently there was an award show where there was a Motown tribute, and Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, was.
No.
It's something different,
is it? Actual Motown. The actual Motown. It's for Motown. It's their anniversary.
Yeah, it's for Motown. It's some kind of anniversary, and Jacksons are not, because I've seen the trailer and.
Oh my God! Do they realize how much money they made for Motown?
But I mean, is it said that they're not invited, or you just didn't see them in it, the trailer?
Maybe. Well, I don't know, but I'm not sure, but I think that they're not invited because people were talking about it a lot and
Well,
complaining.
yeah, I saw people were talking about it, but I knew that, they in the, what do you call it, the trailer, nothing, the little trailer that they had, they weren't mentioned, but I didn't know for a fact if it's a fact that they weren't, because that's what I need to find out, if it's a fact that they're not in there.
Sorry, you've heard them being mentioned there?
I've seen it being talked about within the last couple of weeks or so on Twitter. It was said that, but then I didn't see any more about it. So I don't know. She did speak about it. Nicole said Autumn Jackson spoke about it. I think that's what she means by that.
I have no idea. That's absolutely ridiculous if that's true. I mean, they made so much money for them.
I don't see how they can do. I mean, they even said it in the movie Jackson's American Dream. How can you have Motown without Michael Jackson, or Michael Jackson without Motown? So, like, I mean, even though he's gone, the Jacksons are still there. Like, I don't understand how that could even go down. So, we need to look into that.
I'm
Actually,
checking
isn't
it
that
right
supposed to
now.
come on tomorrow?
I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, I think. Wait a minute.
Just talking about shows, by the way, does anyone know, is Cirque still going ahead with its one show as always, as planned, as like, as has been running for years? They've got no plans to withdraw it or anything, have they?
What is that?
Cirque du Soleil in one, they don't have any plans
Oh no,
to.
they make way too much money.
MJ1 put out a thing and said they won't be removing it.
Oh, that is just, oh my God. It's so good to hear, just like people with a bit of integrity. I mean, yeah, it's probably making them a ton of money as well, but good for them.
Okay,
really.
Esther and Cookie said, yeah, on CBS tomorrow it comes out.
There was someone last week who asked if the estate was doing something for the 10-year anniversary in June. And I emailed them, and I actually got an email back. Let me see what it was exactly before I misquote Alicia. I don't have a Pulitzer Prize, so.
I certainly don't. I thought Madonna was at MJ's funeral, so no Pulitzer Prize or no investigative.
You're fake news!
I'm fake news. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, where is she? Alicia. Oh, and then my Outlook is not responding. Always nice.
How are we feeling about how the estate have been reacting? Is anyone particularly satisfied with any maneuvers that they've made publicly or privately? Or
honestly, I don't see any problem except for that thing from Alicia where I think, But otherwise, she always responds pretty quick if you have questions, and I mean, their public statements are usually okay. I don't see an issue at all. Maybe someone else thinks different, but
do you feel like they've done enough?
How much?
Trying.
I don't think there's much you can do. I mean, people will believe what. The more the estate has a financial motive to defend him.
Exactly.
So the more they say, the more he might look guilty to people who already think he's guilty. So
I guess
the
there's
estate,
so much.
There's no way the estate can convince anyone that he's not guilty. So I think they've done enough. Yeah, honestly.
Not even to like point out the illogical, like the whole premise being insane. Like, not obviously not wording it in that way, but just to say that it should never be acceptable for any party to. Yeah, I guess. But didn't they do it in a really lengthy message or something?
But again, all those arguments will be viewed like they're interested. They have financial motive to say that. So
it's just fallen on deaf ears anyway, isn't it? Like, this is the problem. It's like you can't make sense to people without taking out his
What's
name.
up, Joe?
Myra, which is the one that my best friend, the one that John Moffat, Sugarfoot's fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just texted me and asked me, did I know who Cecil Holm was? And I said Pearl Jr. And she said, oh my God, she's harassing John right now.
Oh my God, really?
Why? What is wrong with that woman? She is crazy.
Oh, she is harassing people as well. I asked Brenda Ritchie again about her. I said, what was the deal with that picture? You remember? Because she keeps putting up that picture as, Booby told me where they were, and I went there, and as if they were BFFs. And Brenda said Latoya was just way too nice, you know. She's not even allowed to make a picture there. But Latoya's too nice, so she got the picture.
IP.
That has already been like discussed before. It was basically she was just fangirling them. It's like all the Jacksons are polite. If somebody wants to take a picture, they'll be polite and just kind of accept that request, you know. And Pearl was not there being all pally with them. That, you know, she was just stalking and hunting them out, and then just sat in with a selfie. That is all it was.
Okay, I'm getting ready to. Oh my God. Okay, I just let Myra know that I'm on live right now, and could I share this information? And she said, "Go ahead."
It's good that she said go ahead and not like, oh no, don't say anything, because you already did. Okay, I have the email here from Alicia, by the way, about the 10-year anniversary. She said, hi Suza. Nothing has been announced yet. We prefer to celebrate Michael's life, not focus on his death, which is why there is a big event annually for Michael's birthday and Michael Jackson 1 in Las Vegas. There will be something to commemorate it, but I do not have details yet. And then she said that as soon as I have any information to share, it will be announced. So that was the reaction from the estate about the 10-year anniversary of his death. Not his 61st birthday, 61st?
Oh my God, that's crazy to think that. 61, huh?
Yeah, we're not getting younger.
We are not. My goodness. You know, my first memory, one of my earliest memories of like being alive, it was
Jonathan Moffat. She was talking about
Sugarfoot, yeah, the drummer.
That's Michael's drummer for 35 years or something.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so she sent me screenshots. She's harassing John. She goes, just a few days ago, I saw your name included in the Believer site, so I thought it was stranger, but perhaps you decided to open your mind to it. I am 100% factual in my research. MJ4 Russian TV says MJ faked his death with Jonathan Moffat liking this page. John says MJ did not fake his death. Firstly, he would never put his most beloved treasured mother through all that has transpired in doing that. If he had, I know him. Secondly, he would not have put his second and even equally beloved children through all of this, causing them psychological problems and issues, which never really go away. If anyone thinks that Michael would even have the nerve, selfishness, or disregard for the people he most loved in his life, they go into the second one. Okay, wait, she's sending me something. Let's read the review.
Why is he even
I don't know
responding to her?
Because he didn't know. That's why she called. That's why she was texting me to see who Cecil Holmes was, because he knew a Cecil Holmes. So he didn't know. She I guess they put two and two together. So she's texting me to ask me to to make sure that that's who it is. And this was before, I guess he talked to her. He responded before asking me. That's why. Now, read the reviews of verified purchasers. That's what she said. And then he says, now I don't respond to people who call me and consider me ignorant. That's way too disrespectful to someone when, and even though I may disagree with, didn't address you in that such negative way and tone. No need to take this any further, ever. We're done. She goes, this is Pearl Jr. Ignorant just means you don't know. You are looking in the wrong direction. Don't be so sensitive. Gosh, look how you are attacking me as if I'm a despicable person for my investigation.
Investigation.
Uh-huh. Oh my God. And she's still typing. Oh jeez.
Why is she? Like I said before, I believe that part. I believe too, and I believe he would never do that. We discussed that in the live on the other channel yesterday. That's an emotional argument, so that's not something you can prove. But she is always harassing his friends, his family, his colleagues. She was even on the highway filming Prince because he was driving behind her on the highway, filming him, calling it a clue. Oh, look, Prince Jackson is behind me, so Michael Jackson must be alive. What?
Right.
Leave the kid alone. Leave the kid alone.
She was. See, this is why. This is the thing. This is the thing about Pearl Jr. that I cannot respect and I do not like. Whether you believe or don't believe, whatever, that's on you. But leave his family and friends alone.
Yeah.
Leave them alone with it. Why do that? Why? Oh God. Ugh.
Well, have you seen that she was for an hour or an hour and a half stalking at Havenhurst because this woman was there in front of the gate? And you could tell that the woman was just waiting there. She wasn't being let in. She probably was some kind of chef or something, or a cleaning lady or whatever. And she was there for an hour or an hour and a half. Woman, go work or something.
Jeez Christ.
Leave those people alone.
Yeah, right.
Whatever you believe, whatever you want to investigate, you can do it online. You really don't have to harass those people.
Right, and just stop harassing people, period. I mean, John, as we all know, all the fans, majority of the fans know who John is, Michael's drummer for all those years. He just had surgery, heart surgery. It's not even been 6 months, and you're harassing this man?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Come on. Like, and see, I can't even go after her because she got me blocked on everything.
She got me blocked too on my Suze account, but not on the rest.
We're all blocked.
She got me blocked on every last account I got, and I ain't
I saw in the beginning of the chat, I wrote it down, let's see. Tina said, I don't know if Tina's still in here, that they are investigating Wade's charity. Does anyone know anything about that?
Yes, apparently, is it Joel will probably know more about this actually because it was posted in Moonwalking Night that Prince Paris was secretly having them investigated.
Prince and Paris.
Having the charity or having Wade as an individual or having like
I guess all around. I posted it in Moonwalkers Unite. There's an article on Prince and Paris investigating their charity over in Hawaii because they did it in Hawaii under what do you call that stuff? C50 whatever it is. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. Because
Roger Friedman had an article about that.
Yeah, it is. Let me see.
So is there any way of finding out, I mean, because clearly, they're appealing the decision and still fighting the estate on this appeal. Who's funding this, by the way? Who's funding the money that they were able to even afford to do this?
Well, this is what the discussion was about, the charity, that it's a tax-free, where it's set up in Hawaii, it's a tax-free fund thing.
Yeah.
But apparently if the donations exceed 500,000, then they have to declare it. And there was a theory of I can't recall exactly, as I said, the link was shared in Jar's group.
I'm looking at now.
And even in Kerry's group, I think it was as well. It may have actually been Kerry that shared it. that what they were thinking of doing, because they didn't want to say that James and Wade had been paid for this documentary of Dan Reed's, but obviously they'd been doing interviews, and a way to get around it was somebody said they'd obviously been paid. Dan had been paid to on their behalf, that Dan could then donate to Wade's charity as a way of paying them, but obviously it being a donation.
Oh my.
And then obviously Oprah just recently did that massive donation to a cause, and she obviously was paid because of the After Neverland thing that she participated in. But they're all trying to get away with this thing saying nobody's been paid, but yet they're kind of doing it through ways of large donations through these tax loophole charity type situations. So yeah, that's what that is about.
What about James Safechuck then?
James Safechuck has come out that his dad's company or something was owing hundreds of thousands of something. I can't exactly remember which, but there's so much online. I mean, if you haven't caught up, I mean, probably the people that are watching this live now would be able just to sort of pop up some replies to what you're asking about James Safechuck. Also, the videos that are on the Michael Jackson Innocent Project kind of do contain some of that information. I mean, there's a lot of motive for both Wade and James.
Oh, I heard your one on James Safechuck was absolutely incredible. Absolutely amazing. Because he went from being the one that was, from a fan standpoint, I know you guys are like the experts, but for me as a fan, when I discovered that he looked like the one that was just, being dragged along and all the rest of it. And then his case was even more insane than Wade's. Like the way you unfurled it, how he was trying to sue the Jackson estate on the basis that Michael didn't warn them about himself. That Michael Jackson failed to warn James and his family about Michael Jackson. That's basically where it ended up at, right?
Yeah, because Michael Jackson was the
sole proprietor, owner, CEO kind.
You not seen that one, Jar?
Oh, sorry. Jar's muted because she was doing something. Hold on. Yep.
I can't find. They took it down, I guess. Know where it is.
Did you have Jar muted all the way through that,
Yep.
Jonathan?
No. I don't. She's unmuted now.
Okay, Susan, what was the video called where we talked about James Safechuck's claims about they sued Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson didn't warn them about Michael Jackson?
Oh, that was
That was a doozy. It was so good. I was like, what? That was just incredible. That was absolutely incredible.
That was I'll link to it in the chat. It was called Leaving Neverland, How and Why Safechuck's civil case was dismissed.
Yeah. Like, there. Everyone needs to hear that because that is unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, do I have this right? Like, Michael Jackson failed to warn them about Michael Jackson.
Yes.
That's the basis
that was his legal defense, yeah.
That was his legal defense.
Or his not his defense, his
Michael Jackson should have known, that it's just that he should have fired himself.
And he should have done a background check on himself, and it was so ridiculous.
That's what was so interesting, like I said, is because Safechuck came across, Wade was taking all of the light because he was the celebrity and all the rest of it. But when you discovered what the Safechuck one was, it was like, holy, that's even more nuts. To be put, like the kind of like wrangling they're trying to use to get money, and they're going to be. I mean, when are their dates due for the hearing on this appeal? Like, when is all that coming to fruition?
I think in June. There's something in June.
June is going to be a showdown, isn't it? Like
June or July? Yeah, there's something in June and July. I think. I don't remember exactly what it was. I have so much information, and I store it somewhere. If I really need it, I can find it. But I think there was something in June or July. But maybe someone in the chat knows for sure.
I mean, what would the implications be? Like worst case scenario, say for example, I mean, it couldn't happen, but say
No,
for
he can't.
example,
They can't win it. There is no way they can win it because
and what do you think will happen once they get it, like, their appeal thrown out? Like, will this be reported or
no,
not?
no, no.
Stupid
They're just
question.
still talking about this appeal, as if there's still a chance for them. And I mean, if you have a corrupt judge, anything's
That's the issue.
possible. But so far, what I got from it, they still have that backlog, that judge, also for the appeal.
Yeah.
Apparently, which I thought was weird because I think
The one who
an appeal should
dismissed the
be.
case?
Yeah, but I think I'm not a lawyer. Maybe someone in the chat knows, but as far as I know, an appeal judge will just see if the court case that's already thrown out, if that was all rightfully done.
Yes.
And if it was thrown out based on the right arguments, which they were.
So like just appeal their decision kind of thing. Like they don't get a chance to go forward again and submit anything else. It's more like a review of the decision upon which.
As far as I'm concerned, that's what will be done. And I mean, I'm not afraid of it because, well, you've seen that video.
Oh my God, it was amazing. That was a fantastic video. Anyone who's listened who hasn't
And
seen
Robson
that,
has an even
absolutely
bigger
go there.
problem because he also perjured himself. So, and the judge mentioned that in his decision. So yeah, they're both effed. I think I'm doing pretty good with my non-swearing today, Nina. What do you think?
I'm so proud of you, Caesar. I'm so proud. I'm even proud of Jar because Jar's been good, and obviously Fahad as well. He's there with us, and he's been good, well behaved. So I'm loving you. And Sasha, your lag could do with some improving.
Got a little I don't know. I have to put money in the jar or something. Just happens, doesn't it?
I see that
Been trying to modify it a bit.
I see that they are debating in chat how tall Michael was. He was 5'11". I asked Debbie Rowe. I mean, she was married to him, stood next to him a few times, so I assume she knows.
Would it be on his autopsy report?
The autopsy report had 5'9".
Well,
but in the autopsy, he was wearing shoes and standing up. Obviously, when he was standing next to Debbie Rowe, he had shoes on. Maybe that's why he's taller.
I don't know. I'm not even going to discuss this because this is going to lead into other discussions. We're going to be here for 5 hours again, so let's not do that. But
isn't 5'11" like one little whatchamacallit away from 6 foot? Because when you get to 12, now I don't know if this is true, but somebody said when you get to 12, that's when you go up to like a whole new
5'11" is 1 meter 80 centimeters. I don't know how you I think you have hands in the UK, don't you?
No, we have feet in inches.
Inches? Yeah. Oh.
Feet in inches, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Hands are for horses, right?
Yeah, 5'11", and then the next is, as far as I'm concerned, 6 foot.
Yeah, there's no such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing as 5'12" or 6'12" or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So what? He was almost 6 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about
if he would stand up straight, I think, because that's the issue. How he would usually be have his head down. So, but according to Debbie Rowe, and I mean, I think she's a good source. She says he's 5'11". So does Ja, right? Ja, you stood next to him. Although Ja is like a midget, so.
Yes.
so he's tall for her anyway.
Did all you guys get to meet him at some point?
I haven't.
I think a few of us used to back in the day. I used to save my dinner money, and just like whenever he was in London, just used to stay outside hotels or outside like concert halls, Wembley, where he used to be. I sneaked in. He went to Harrods one year, and I was the only ethnic back in my day in my class, so I looked a little bit foreign. I looked like I could have been related to Mohammed Al Fayed. So It was very busy, very rushed. And wherever Michael is, Jar can probably confirm that there's always a lot of people. And I remember pretending that I was related to Mohammed Al Fayed and
Nice.
sneaked in. And Michael loved sweet things. And we were all walking. There was lots of us. I was just this chubby little pale-faced ethnic-looking child just following. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, just following them all. We went through this, like, through Harrod's bit, like, he grabbed Michael, like, some sweet things, like, I think traditional sweet kind of pastry type biscuit things. And then Michael clocked me that I shouldn't be in this group of people following them all
That's
around
hilarious.
Harrods. He finished eating his kind of pastry thing, this cake thing, and I still have it. I have lucky enough to have quite a few signed things. He signed the cake case that he ate from, and he gave it to me and squeezed my little chubby cheeks.
Oh my God, that is, imagine the game you had to be able to be like, yeah, I'm in the Al Fayed crew. It's like follow along.
Well, the thing
That's,
is, it was kind of easy because there was so many people trying to get in, and Michael was actually really sweet. I mean, he was always telling people just to watch, like he always was surrounded by lots of security. Mohammed Al Fayed as well actually was very high. He always had a lot of people around him, and Michael was always very kind and calm and would say things like, just please be careful, just be careful. And Matt Fadez, his former bodyguard, I see him a few times, and I was quite pleasantly surprised recently that he remembered me from one of the things that he was at, that he took something. Michael pointed at me and asked Matt to take something from me. Then he asked for a something to lean on to sign, because he first tried to sign a piece of paper that somebody handed to him to give to me, but the pen went through the paper halfway through signing, so he had to get someone to get a program for the event that he was at. Uri Geller was also at the same event, and then he finished signing, and it was in 2002, and I got that. So but I think we talked about it before last week, like, you can't, it's such an indescribable feeling, and it's like it's very surreal when you see someone like him in real life, because it's hard to. I got quite emotional when Taj was on the live with Susa a couple of weeks ago. I got quite emotional trying to explain why I feel like the fans get such a hard time defending Michael, but the reason we believe him, a lot of the fans, they've been through stuff, and they've gone through stuff, and they kind of are drawn to Michael because of his goodness and because of his purity, and because he wants to do good for so many children. And I think that's why he's had so many loyal fans over the years. And even though he passed away, he still continues to gain new loyal fans that can just see him for the good man that he was.
yeah. No, completely. And
Perfect,
it's like
obviously, not perfect at all, but he was a
human.
good man.
Yeah. This is the thing. And I know that people, like, it's so crazy. Like, it's the people who've been to his gigs that I know, or who've even been near, like, places where he was performing, either at his gigs or nearby, have all said that the sound and the reaction that people make to this person is not comparable to anything. Like,
Sorry.
sorry.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say that isn't it disgusting how people say that, yeah, he can be a good man, but at the same time he was a pedophile, like
I know that dichotomy is just so, it disgusts me when people do.
they're saying that he didn't see it as something bad, as something
Oh,
wrong. He did love children, but at the same time he molested them. I think it's completely, like, it's just a stupid argument to me.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the whole pedophilia accept how do you say that? The
the
normalizing
acceptance.
of pedophilia
Yeah,
agenda,
Yeah.
as he is a good man, but he liked little kids. Like Barbara Streisand said, yeah, he had his needs too, and the kids. I mean, they didn't die from it. I mean, what?
it's so weird. When I think about this whole pedophilia thing and this whole pedophilia acceptance, I think to myself, who is willing to put their kids forward then to be party
Oh,
to this,
you'd be
by the way?
surprised. You would be surprised how many people would actually sell their kids out.
Oh,
It's disgusting, but it's really more people than you think.
Wow. That's just, yeah. I mean, well, it's funny because I don't know if you guys like Stanley Kubrick very much, the film director. I love,
Oh, me
absolutely
too. Yeah.
obsessed with that guy, obsessed. And his final like farewell was Eyes Wide Shut, and you saw that exactly happen
Yep.
within the space of that storyline. Remember, with the young 14-year-old girl who was caught with the Asian businessman, and by the next time Tom Cruise went back, they'd come to a deal.
Yep.
So one minute the father was raging about his daughter and these men, and the next minute it's like, oh, there's been an arrangement made now. And this is in Stanley Kubrick's final film, so he was telling us this shit is happening. Eyes Wide Shut. That was the name of it. Everyone's looking around like, oh, this doesn't really happen. And then,
It's absolutely
Jesus,
a good movie to watch for people when you want to know what's really
what's
going on.
going on? And very for this
All
thing
of
that's
his
going on
movies,
right
because
now, right now.
he was really
Oh
someone
yeah,
who
he
would,
was really something.
I mean,
Like
he told the truth through his art. That's what killed him eventually. I mean, because Eyes Wide Shut is the movie that actually killed him, because he wanted to.
Yeah.
I think it was 26 minutes or something that he wanted in there, and they pressured him to take it out. He didn't want to, so Stanley got a heart attack, and they
Well, they
released it
could have
without
actually
those
died.
26 minutes anyway.
Well, yeah, he died, and then it was released after he died, so they got to do what they wanted with it. So who
Mm-hmm.
knows what was ever in those scenes? But I would recommend people that if they feel like they're in a parallel universe right now, what we are in, it's just so crazy. Like his films are so good to really reveal so many realities. He speaks more truth, and then you have like documentaries, like you have the word documentary being applied to Leaving Neverland, which is pure fiction,
It is.
and there's a gentleman who's telling the truth through movie. It's just, yeah, it's mind bending, absolutely mind bending. It's so great. And have you seen? And the other one is, I don't want to go off on too many times, but just so you know, there's one called Room 237.
Somebody just sent me a DM on Twitter who's listening. Want to know if Sasha is actually Cheryl Cole, because Cheryl Cole, like
Oh, is
Michael
that not just
Jackson,
you saying that? I think that's
swears
just you
on me.
pretending that someone's saying that. Well, yeah, I could be. What's that? What did she sing? You gotta fight, 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 fight for this love. That's it.
Hey guys, I
I'm
just came
totally
back on to
Cheryl.
say that I have to go for now, but it was great talking to you guys.
Don't
It was lovely
go.
to meet you. Thank
I have
you.
to. My dad is waiting.
Oh yeah,
I have to go with
daddy's
Daddy.
go first.
What time
Yes.
is it? Where are you, and what time is it where you are?
I am in Los Angeles, California, and it is
How's it?
4:20 p.m.
Wow, I'm going to be your neighbor-ish. I'm going to be moving to Phoenix next year, so maybe I'll come over say hey.
Nice. Bye,
Yeah.
Poetic. Okay, guys. It was great talking to you guys, and I hope to join in on the next one.
Bye,
Susan,
Ja.
Bye,
Susan,
Ja.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye
Susan
bye.
and Nina, I love y'all. My
Love you
Love
girls. Those are my
you.
too. Bye
girls.
bye, Ja.
Y'all mess with
Bye.
them. Y'all mess with me. Just know that. No, I'm just playing. Okay, guys, have a good one.
Bye
Happy
bye.
Easter, everyone.
You
Bye.
Happy
too.
Easter.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Juliet says in the chat, maybe the problem is with the relationship those kids had or have with their parents. That's exactly what I wanted to say. If you look at those mothers, both of Wade and of James, they actually pimped out their kids completely.
Right.
Yeah, they were the ones that pursued the contact with Michael on all counts, and mentioned in the other live before, every time the Safe Chucks visited Neverland, Michael would make a point of not being home when they were there.
Are you joking? Oh my God. Like,
It's
why was he so why didn't he just not let them in? Like, what is, oh, I mean, what did you guys feel? I haven't seen the documentary, but I have seen certain, I don't need to. Like,
Oh,
it's,
you're
but
lucky.
I'm not, couldn't think
so
less of it.
why
But
haven't
that
you watched
scene,
it? So somebody that has, I would like
because
just for
I
you to.
couldn't, give me the transcript, I'll read it maybe, but I am not interested for a second in spending 4
I
hours
think
when I
it's
know the
important to
backstory.
watch it to be able to go through
I'd
it
read
and
it.
pick things apart.
Well, I'll read the transcript because I know that I think Vindicating Michael Jackson, I think that site has started to put up the actual transcript to the film, I believe. And I've had to argue this point so many times, but it's almost like, another guy said it really well. If you know it's propaganda going into it, and you already know the backstory to it, I can't even get myself interested enough. I'm not even curious about it. That's what's the craziest thing. Like, I know what's going to be in there. I've seen certain scenes and I can't bring myself to care enough. And I'm being serious when I say that. Like, there's times when I'm like, I'm not. I can't describe how little I'm interested when I know. I'll probably, if you give me the book version, yeah, maybe. I'll get through it like maybe the third and I'll be like, screw this. Like, the same with like, what was the name of that? 50 Shades? It's like 50 Shades for pedophiles, right? That's what
I
it is.
think it would be even more boring to read it rather than watching the documentary.
But at least if you're reading it, you're just getting like the black and white of what they're saying. And you can like, the
Yeah, that's
dates and
true.
the times and like the facts. And you're not being muddied by the music or like
Editing and all
or the
those
editing.
shots, yeah.
And I have to say, like, there's certain scenes that I've seen, and the one that like just kills me the most actually is the one with Safechuck's mother laughing, like, oh, I jumped out of bed. And I'm like, are you people like those soulless people that they talk about? You know how they reckon that there's certain individuals that some people just don't have souls.
But why would she jump out of bed when she found out Michael died when James Safechuck didn't allegedly confess
I know
his
all of
truth
that.
until 2013?
But as a
Sitting in a
human to
house,
lie like that,
yeah, but she was sitting in a house that she implied that Michael Jackson bought for them. Convenient, she said. Actually, the matter of fact is, Michael Jackson loaned them the money because
yeah,
James Safechuck's father asked for a loan. Well, it was actually Stephanie Safechuck that asked her husband to ask Michael because James Safechuck's father actually had a lot of respect for Michael. So Stephanie Safechuck, the needy wannabe stage mum, asked her husband to ask Michael for a loan. Michael gave them the loan. Michael just got so fed up because they were late and defaulted in repaying him back the money that he just give up chasing, and in the end that's why they had the house. It wasn't the fact that Michael bought them the house, it's that they leached off of Michael. They couldn't afford to pay him back, they were defaulting in the loan. But just like the staff member, the maid, the ex-maid, what was her name
or
again,
Adrian
Susan? Yeah,
McManus.
Adrian McManus. She owes Michael lots of money still, even to this day. And she was interviewed on the 60 Minutes thing in
Yeah,
Australia,
I saw that.
and even the interviewer, was finding it difficult to keep a straight face with what she was saying.
Right.
Well, yeah, she owes him money, but he's dead, so I don't still owe the money. Well, actually, yeah, you do still owe the money. These people have no morals. These are people are pushing their children on to Michael and then have the nerve to say, but he did this to my son. The fact that she said that the door was locked when she went to go see him and they were watching a movie, it's been confirmed by somebody that, went around in the home that it was a safety lock. So somebody from the outside could open it if there was a fire. It can't lock from the inside, and that they're right next to the door that she said, she had to put her ear in to listen, is a massive window, so anyone
Hmm.
could see in what was going on in that movie theater anyway.
It's like that. What I'm trying to get my head around is like watching people lie in these ways. I have it. It's just difficult for me to look at these. I can't. I don't know. Am I just even at my age, am I still so green that I just can't imagine I'm being that person? Like to sit there, whether it's Adrian or like saying what she's saying, but like just watching that Safe Chuck's mother, like I jumped out of bed and I was like, he can't hurt any, and it's just even that director must have been like, well, I'm
Money,
surprised he put it in the
money, money,
movie.
money, money, money talks. Money, money, money. That is for Stephanie Safechuck, and for the things it's just money. She's got
Money
No
is the
done what I
conscience.
root
like
of
That's
all
again.
my
evil.
point.
Yeah, she also made a comment of Michael just got married to Lisa Marie Presley. He wanted to spend less time with, these other people, and he wanted to concentrate on his new wife and have a new family. So he called the Safe Chucks and said, I'm not going to be able to come round as often, probably not going to be able to see you as often. And he was being nice doing that. And then she hung up the phone. She said, "Oh, I think we've just been dumped." It's like friends grow apart, you move on, you have different things, different goals you want to do in life. He just got married. He was just being courteous and polite and saying, I probably won't see you as much. She took it as getting dumped. And then from that minute on, you can bet that she was bitter.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Tash saying that Joy Robson was in love with Michael? Like,
Yeah, she
said,
said that on the
Yeah.
live. He knew,
yeah.
and
And
he
then
knew for
his
sure that
dad.
she was. But Safe Chuck's
So
mom
let me
was
get.
too, clearly.
Can you just tell me the story then? Like, this is like sensitive topic, but I'm aware that Wade's father did commit suicide. Was that because his family basically up and left him, like to be with
Whose
He,
father?
in LA?
he was already Wade's father. He was
Wade's
already
father.
suffering from depression
Uh-huh.
because of the traveling and everything that was going on. Every time that they traveled, I guess the marriage was being strained. Like the more that Joy wanted to push Wade into dance and to kind of being this kind of superstar, that the less that they would be together as a family unit. So that she was always traveling and doing these things for Wade, and her concentration was towards Wade. So then obviously he's losing his family, work wasn't going too
Oh,
well, and it kind of just was. They're blaming it on Michael in the documentary,
what?
but
It
actually
really,
it was
really?
all Joy's. Just yeah, I mean, even the grandma is in the documentary saying, "See, I don't know how much." You did or I know you haven't watched it, but they did cut a
I
lot
don't
of
want.
different versions. But even the grandma was saying, Michael tore this family apart. No, sweetie,
Oh,
Joy Robson tore the family apart. So he lost his whole entire family. And even Shane, Wade's older brother, said he never forgave his mother for doing that.
Right.
and
And
then
And James's dad is dead too. I don't know how old he
is he?
was or what he died. Yeah, he's dead. All
I,
those fathers are dead.
I thought his father had just distanced himself because he was a fan of Michael. Like
N-
he didn't want to be part of
No, I heard he
this like
died
hit job.
2 years ago or something.
Really? I thought Safechuck's dad just didn't want to be part of it. I
Could
don't
be.
know.
I mean, it's not like
People,
I've seen a death certificate, but that's what the internet says. And I know the internet
really,
is
I
not
knew that
always right,
Wade's and
but
I know that Jodie Chandler's, but I didn't know that that was the case with Safechuck also, because that's three of them then. That's crazy.
I just like the
That's,
fact that we didn't know much about James, and actually, from the comments I've read, people used to believe him more, and
yeah,
then he was the one who gave us this reason to debunk the movie regarding the train station. It's just really
yeah.
fun to me.
Yeah, no, that exactly. Like that's what I was saying. Like from me being a fan, like perspective, like it was definitely all about Wade and just
Yeah.
how he, because that was the biggest flip, and whereas like Safe Trip was just this kind of like person popping over Wade's shoulder kind of thing, and then you kind of just suspected like that or whatever. I don't know. You thought out of the two of them for some reason because James looks messed up. Like that guy is clearly, as many people have said, he's clearly depressed. You can
I
see that anyway.
think it was John Ziegler that when he first kind of realized that this was starting to look insane at the beginning, at the start, John Ziegler says out of the two, James Safechuck was more likely to be a believed victim. And at the start of the Leaving Neverland thing, John Ziegler actually believed that James Safechuck was a victim just because he looked like such a nervous wreck. Whereas Wade was coming
Yeah.
across in the documentary as really arrogant, quite self-assured, confident, and in
Yeah,
parts of it he was smirking. So he had that kind of cockiness about himself in the documentary. But as obviously time's gone on, things have been disproven and debunked quite
yeah. The film's
provably.
been debunked. Yeah,
Even John Ziegler's done a complete U-turn now on both guys, and says that this guy James Safechuck now, obviously it's just he's cacking his pants because he knows he's lying. That's why he looks so nervous. That's why he's sweating. You know, the sweat pouring off these guys. It's ridiculous. But yeah, he did kind of just fall a bit behind because everyone was attacking Wade, because Wade
Wait,
had
so what
been
is?
defending Michael for so many years, so publicly showing his love for Michael, then to all of a sudden come out and say this explicit fictional story about this alleged abuse, fans just went nuts. So he got the harder time from all of us, more so than James.
But then it kind of like, but then James emerged to be the one that was like, holy crap, like you really don't have
Yep.
a single, like anything to stand, do you know what I mean? And that's why he looks a wreck. And I think to myself sometimes, did he really know? I mean, because you look at Wade and like the very few interviews they did at the beginning, you know, when they were just like serving their purpose, getting the words out there. You kind of look at James and you think, like, my God, like, do you think that before this was aired, they could have imagined what it might be like? But now that this is their new reality, like, he's not handling it as well, or thinking, crap, like, did I really just sign up for this for the rest of my life? Like, to be basically a fake abuse victim till the end of my days? And what do you get in that case? You get people coming up to you, like sharing their abuse stories, and you have to listen, and it's like, oh, right, okay. And then on the other hand, you've got to kind of just repeat your own fabricated abuse story. I mean, what kind of life is that?
I think he was
Seriously.
blackmailed. That's why he's doing it, because, like you said, why else would you do it?
Why would you want that to be your new life?
Right.
You know, like just you know, abuse stories, and you're lying and you're lying, and you think to yourself, like, he doesn't really know what he's doing, like, or he didn't really know what he was signing up for. So if you say that he was probably coerced or, you know, under duress or whatever, I can believe that for sure. Because if you look at Wade, he just like looks like a sociopath. He's just like sat there, like, you know, like, yeah, he's absolutely fine with it. He doesn't look like he's got any issue whatsoever, which is horrifying.
It is.
But with James, you think like, whoa, is he going to be able to actually hold on? Like, I'm sorry to sound dramatic, but he
James
doesn't
looks
look
like
like
he can crack any minute.
he looks like. I mean, but this is the thing. Is this why they're not wheeling them out anymore? Like, is it just like it's done now? Because one thing I will say is that I've noticed, you know, on the podcasting circuit, people are still wanting Dan Reed. Unbelievably, like there's still like there's a huge podcast guy. I'm not going to even give his name airtime. Dude, who's huge in the Northeast, and he's got like 500,000 followers and all the rest of it, and he gets like really high profile people on. He's had Robbie Williams, he's had all kinds of people on, and he wants Dan Reed. He's like putting it out there that he's like a huge support, despite the fact that the film has, in my eyes, and what I'm saying to people, it's de facto debunked at this. Like, it's not a documentary,
No,
fabricated,
it's
but
absolutely not. It's a propaganda piece.
yeah, it's debunked. Like, there's no argument about it. Like now at this point, and but at the same time, these podcasters are still wanting Dan Reed to be talking for 2 hours about
I
like
think it's not such a bad thing. The more interviews Dan does, the more he digs his hole deeper.
It
To be
is.
honest with you.
well, that's
I mean,
I
the guy triggers himself. I mean, he started off being cool, calm, and collected when he was doing these interviews, but now he's literally shouting back at fans in these podcast interviews. He's just coming across so hateful and racist, and just like he's got this absolute targeted vendetta against Michael. It's just a pure hate. And people are kind of picking up on the fact that this man is losing his mind. His documentary, I hate calling it documentary, but his documentary has been picked to pieces. And now all he has left to do is do these podcasts, waving a pencil in the air, flashing his BAFTAs in the background, saying that the fans are the fandom of, like, the ISIS of the fandom. And, oh, please don't ask me, is it because of the, you know, did Wade turn down the Cirque du Soleil show? And I've seen a personal email. Why wasn't it in the documentary then, dear Dan?
oh, and the
So
soiled underpants,
but I
Mr.
think the
Soiled
more he
Underpants.
does, the more podcasts he does, the more he digs himself in, the more stupid he looks, the more that people start to see that this guy is crazy. He speaks with no logic, he speaks with no sense. So I think I think he should keep going. I think he should keep digging that hole of his, because eventually he just will not be able to get out.
No.
Well, I hope so, but I mean, yeah, no, you're right, you're right. It's just like, the guy who I know whose podcast he's trying to get, like, who's trying to get Dan on, will not do that direction. He's already like one of those, like, the ones who are just like unquestioning,
I tried to
immediately
get
think,
Dan
yeah,
on.
you what?
I actually invited Dan
Oh,
Reed.
I would love to set it up with him and Charles Thompson. That would be just, oh,
He doesn't come on, but ever since I invited him, I invited him on Twitter to just come and talk one on one. And
not a chance.
no, not a chance. But ever since he's been trolling my YouTube, it's very annoying.
Can we
Dan
talk?
Reed is trolling you?
Oh,
Oh,
hell
sorry,
yeah,
we'll
yeah. He's
not say the name.
reporting videos. He is making all kinds of accounts and thumbing it down and making weird comments and yeah, I'm
So, right.
yeah, it's definitely him.
So he
Can we
doesn't
talk?
have. Sorry. I'm
Yeah.
gonna.
Can we talk about the Euro Disney thing and James?
Yeah,
People
well,
say,
we don't have to
well,
talk
what do you
about
know
it because
about this?
it's not true.
It's not true.
No, that came from one of those websites, MJ and Boys or MJ Facts, one of the two, and they had that wrong. They made that story up about James going to Euro Disney. It's probably a European that wrote it and wrote Euro Disney because for us Europeans, that's well the ones my age at least, because I think it's called Disneyland now. But back in the
Mhm.
day, it was called Euro Disney, but Euro Disney wasn't built until 1990 or 1991 or something, I think. And they assumed that it was Euro Disney, but it was Disneyland Florida.
Okay, so
So that's nothing that comes from James. So that's one that you can just throw out, never
all
think about
right.
it again.
Okay, that's good to know. All right.
Yeah, I really have to say that, anyone is out there studying journalism or studying media or doing anything to do with, that kind of humanities subject, they should look at this whole chapter of this event as a kind of really more real moment in citizen journalism. Really, with what you guys do, with like people like Charles Thompson, with like just so many people out there, or that Liam guy who did the Neverland firsthand, and
Mm-hmm.
really look at how this is a moment in time
Liam
when
McKibben's amazing.
citizen journalism has emerged, like, is this just unstoppable. Like, I love the fact that everyone holds everyone so accountable for any kind, like what you've just done with the Euro Disney thing, and everyone, no, you got to check that, like if somebody said that, and blah 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 blah. It's really, when it's done nicely and it's done in a really constructive way, it's just brilliant to like behold. Do you know what I mean? Because I studied journalism myself in BA a few, like, 10 years ago, and I really think that if people should look at this whole thing with Michael Jackson, and whether you want to do it from the documentary like angle or anything, it's just such a fascinating moment in time. And I think that, people like yourselves and other people involved should be so proud, because I don't know, are you proud of yourselves? You should be.
I think it's a natural thing to do, honestly.
Well, you'd think, right? But
Well, I've always been kind of a
not in the
rebel,
industry.
so I'd like to kick against stuff ever since I was little, and I
Yeah,
have this urge just to always to say something when I hear bull crap,
yeah,
and that makes me a
yeah,
little
of
bit
course.
too vocal sometimes, where to a point where people say, "Oh yeah, you better shut up." No, that's not gonna happen.
I'm proud of you, Susie. You just used the word bullcrap when you could have used the word bullsh.
Yeah.
I'm really
So,
doing my best. And I have to think about it actually because I don't know. So some of those English cuss words are just so smooth coming out.
I know they just roll off, but it's easy that it's funny. Like when I'm around kids, like because I teach, and as soon as I'm around kids, it's amazing how it switches off. Like I don't know, I've never like slipped up in front of a child before, which I'm pretty proud of. But can I just ask you guys, like on a personal level, like have you had like any like personal like altercations with people over this in the last 6 weeks, and how have you dealt with it? Like, how has that been?
Have we had what?
Like personal, like altercations with people over this topic. Like, how have you managed to handle stuff like that? You know, not on the internet. I mean, basically, like in real life.
In real life, no one knows what
Yeah,
I do. So
like
that's
what?
very simple for me.
Wow.
Well, one of my colleagues came and said, like, I watched that movie. Well, that's horrible, and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
I said, like, do you believe it? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I just started mentioning all the facts, and then she was like, yeah, probably you're right. I was kind of satisfied.
I know it's hard. Like I've not found a way to really like. I was actually devising a kind of infographic that I can just have in my pocket. You know, that just like explains the absurdity of how this whole case is like represented. Because I know like there's just I don't even know where to start with some people. And the argument that I get a lot is, well, you haven't seen the movie,
Oh
and it
yeah.
makes me want to it makes me want to flush my head down the toilet when I hear that. It's just like I
It's
yeah.
just really it's difficult to defend Michael when you are a fan, because people are
Yes.
always like, you're a fan, of course you're going to defend him.
Oh,
And
yes, I'll defend the
it's hard
paedophile.
to explain that, yeah, listen, it's not about it, look at the evidence and make your own conclusion. But still, they look at you like, yeah, whatever, you're a fan.
That's what, when I'm trying to, like, when I do this infographic thing, because I love design and stuff like this, I've purposely sought to avoid using his name in it. Because the only way you can, that's what I was saying at the very beginning, that you can make sense of this is you don't almost muddy the argument by using his name and just say, this is how this cannot be true. If you just look at these, like, instances
Right.
of where the law has continuously proven that this is the case in every three cases, 93, 2005, and now with this film in 2019. The legal reaction has always been this. The public reaction is always, the media reaction has always been the opposite. Like, it's as simple as that. But I'm not very, in the moment, I'm find myself, I'm not very coherent, and I just like, and then it just turns into a shit show. And you haven't seen the movie, and I'm like,
Well, I
So
have,
But
and it's good to see the movie
it is.
because
Yeah.
that way,
it's 4 hours.
it is boring.
Bullshit.
It's
How can we do
horrible.
4 hours? That's like basically telling me I'm gonna sit you down and like. Did you know about Big Brother in England? By the way, have you ever heard of that TV show being over in England?
Yeah, it's a Dutch TV
Yeah.
show, isn't it?
Did you hear
Big
about the
Brother.
controversy of last
No,
year? Okay, so there was a
I
big
don't watch
controversy.
TV at all, so I.
Oh, this was bull. I mean, I didn't watch this, but it was such a huge story. So basically, there was a celebrity Big Brother. They only put celebrities in for 10 days because of crack up, all that kind of thing. So they put 10 celebrities in Big Brother, in the Big Brother house. And there was this young girl who accused a guy of punching her. And what she like, and she went hard on this claim, and she was telling the other housemates that this guy had beaten her like she was a punch bag, and had taken other celebrities into other rooms, and you could hear her reenacting the punching, like bang, bang, bang on the flesh, to the point where these other guys were like, we have to do something, and blah, blah, blah.
You're
What
talking
she
about
failed,
Roxanne Pallet, aren't
yeah,
you?
yeah, exactly. What she failed to recognize is that there was cameras in the Big Brother house. Surprise, surprise, you're in the Big Brother house. So the whole nation was watching this guy doing nothing. He was just basically jumping around a room, kind of airboxing, just jumping around. He wasn't doing anything. And he passed her by and might not have even made contact. And she would immediately like grabbed the wrong side of him and was like, you punched me and blah, blah, blah. And my point is, you saying to me like, okay, let's watch this documentary is like me watching a 4-hour documentary of Roxanne Pallet saying how she was beaten up in the Big Brother house.
Right.
Like, that's the appeal it has to me. I'm like, I can't.
It's not necessarily about the appeal, and even though it's 4 hours long, when you're watching it,
But
because
it's
it was
live.
done in two parts. Yes, I know, but the point of why I watched it and why probably Susan watched it is because to investigate, to debunk, to watch, to disprove. You need to know what exactly you need to comment about. And then when you get these people say, well, you didn't watch it, so how can you argue about it? How can you defend something you haven't seen? And they've got a point. Watch it and see exactly what it is you're up against. Because the beginning of the documentary starts off really beautifully, actually. And I smiled watching the first part of it because it was very sweet. It was very emotional. It was real.
That's exactly what they wanted to do.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
started off telling the truth. They had this relationship with Michael. Michael was part of their family, part of their life. They had this friendship with Michael, this connection. He helped them with their careers. He put them on a good path. All that was true. So they wanted to get it. It's a very cleverly done thing.
I've heard
So
it's a roller coaster.
well, no, I
No,
don't
no,
even
not
think it's a
really.
roller
It's very
coaster, actually.
Because
boring.
don't they do like nice things and then like, oh, the next thing you know, you're hearing a sex scene?
Yes.
Well, this is why you should watch it, because then you can see for yourself and understand why it is it's made such an impact, where people say, oh, they're so shocked at what they're hearing because they're telling the truth in the first part. They want you to see, oh, this must be true, because look at those photos of him and Michael when they were children. Look at all those stories they were able to share about real things that happened with them and Michael. And because you're believing that, you start off with that believing their stories, that the good part, then you must have to believe the bad part too. And that's where the documentary's been so clever in playing on people's emotions. As you said in the beginning of this life, it's about playing on people's emotions. Once you get them in on that part, you believing in the first half what they're saying, so you've got to believe what they're saying in the rest of it, and it's very cleverly done. However, when you know the history of both of these guys and you see what they're saying, and Brandy Jackson, who dated Wade Robson for I think 8 years, maybe,
Yeah.
she knew when Wade's facial expressions were lying, that he was smirking when he was saying certain allegations, laying out certain allegations of the abuse. She said he was smirking, he was trying not to laugh because he knew what he was saying was utterly ridiculous. So I kind of don't agree with the thing when you were saying, trying to say, did you watch it? It's like comparing it to trying to watch Roxanne Pallet pretend that she got punched in the arm when she actually didn't. It's there's no real comparison there. It's like it's
It's just
completely
the
different.
lies.
Oh, we have a
That's
troll
what I
again.
mean.
Oh,
That's
you
what I
do?
mean is that
Who's the troll?
There, guilty or innocent. I would be proud to have a son who was molested by Mr. Jackson. We're rambling idiots, and he regularly lets his children sleep with 36-year-old men
oh,
unsupervised.
that
Well,
argument
well,
is
that one's
so just like,
going.
it's just that whole thing as well. It's like on one hand, it's like, oh, this is what I was saying about this whole idea that Michael Jackson is this incredible human that is quite unlike anyone we've really ever seen. No one has bonded the world together the way this guy has. But at the same time, he's that idiot in the street who is wanting to bring kids into his house. It's like, what is the comparison here? Because Michael Jackson is not both those things. So when you make out that sleeping next to a child segues into having sex with them like that, like I don't even know what that logic is. There's a whole universe of difference there. And if there's a weird guy in the street doing that, yeah, of course, because he's not Michael Jackson. Do you know what I mean? What I'm trying to explain here? They say that he's at once one thing, and then also we have the same opinion of him as some weirdo next door.
Right.
So that argument holds no water with me. Like, what 36-year-old man? It's just like, yes, the normal one in the
That's
street
just
also
troll,
happens
though.
to,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just
But a lot of
don't
people
even
use
waste.
that.
But yeah, but you don't need to entertain what trolls say.
I
If
know.
there's no logic in what the
No,
trolls say.
I
They're
only
just doing
reply
it
to
just to
people
get.
who actually come with reasonable concerns, because I don't think everyone is trolling, because I see a lot of people, like I said, no one in my personal life, besides my boyfriend and one of my friends, knows I do anything Michael Jackson at all. So
Wow.
I hear a lot of stories from people, because they don't know what I do. they speak freely as well. So I hear what people think, and it's mostly just the ignorance because they don't know. The fans know everything, but the regular people who don't have anything with Michael Jackson, don't care, they don't know anything. So the only thing they are seeing is what the media lets them see, and that is this weird yeah.
I know.
You know what I
like if you
mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
He is portrayed as some what's that guy's name that they made the movie about? He's being he peed in cups. And he had very long fingernails. He was a secluse. What's his name? I think he was a pilot. Yes, that one.
Who?
So he is compared
to
that.
What was the name? The guy who peed in cups and had long fingernails? Who was that?
Howard Hughes.
Howard who?
Hughes.
Howard Hughes?
Yes.
I
think there's I think that one of those movies with, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio was about Howard Hughes, if I remember right.
Oh, right. Okay. So was he like an eccentric, like
very eccentric, yes, and very, he was a billionaire, and he was really a secluse at the end of his life. But
that's the thing.
But that's how people who don't look into this whole Michael Jackson thing, because they're not fans or because they don't care, that's all they know. So they see a 35-year-old man and he slept with kids in a bed. That's all they hear. And if I was them, I would also think, that's weird. So I see why people have a certain opinion. It's an ignorant opinion, so I always like to address those comments. But if they're just coming to troll, just to troll, no, I remove them or I say something stupid back. But
the smartest.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, the smartest thing they did with this movie was there were like two images of Michael Jackson. One is a humanitarian, the guy who donated money, who helped children, who raised awareness about issues, etc. And there is the second image, a pedophile, basically. What they did, they mixed those two images. They said the narrative is the following: it is absolutely possible to be a humanitarian, to donate money, etc., and at the same time to be a pedophile. That was they made it on purpose. That was their move, and I think it was a smart move for them.
Which is true, because look at Oprah and her schools in Africa. I mean, and that guy that was arrested, John something.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. And did you see her pajama party as well with all the girls and how she's on the phone?
Right. So it is true. I mean, most of those pedophiles. That's why they put that in the movie. Most pedophiles do have some kind of foundation or charity as a sort of a smokescreen for their. And I'm not saying Oprah is definitely a pedophile. I mean, I'm just having a theory.
You don't need any evidence to say it. You can just be like,
she's alive. She's alive. She can sue me.
You said you're not sane. You said you're not sane.
It's just that it makes me think that I've said it before. If you fart, you always blame the one next to you. And that's a very simple way of saying that I think that the ones that are screaming the loudest right now that Michael Jackson is a pedophile are the ones that should be looked into, and then they still have to go and have their day in court. Because you're still innocent until proven guilty, but I do think it's very suspicious that some people are so loud, even though the lies are so clear, that there must be something more behind this.
Like, I think that with so many people, like the ones who shout the loudest and point the fingers, like with that gentleman that we were talking about who got me banned from Twitter twice, got my 2 accounts chucked off. What about him? You know, like there's so much weirdness surrounding that guy, the one who's like the vigilante behind like capturing all these pedophiles. And I think, oh yeah, you know, you're like, I don't know, there's certain things that certain tabloids have reported about him who, it's crazy.
Right.
It's absolutely
I'm
crazy.
gonna have to say good night. Susan, you know I've got
I have to go too because I'm almost falling asleep. It's we're more than 2 hours in again.
Oh
And
my God. Well, you guys have been amazing. So amazing. Thank you for having me on.
so I am going to end the live stream for now, and we'll be back next week. I hope to make it in time next week because I did the poll on YouTube that said that people like this time, well, an hour and a half earlier, but on Saturday best. So I think we should keep it that way. So unless anything happens in between, we'll be back next Saturday. So see you guys later.
Right.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.